So I just wanted to talk about this because I talked about this for a long, long time. And in some parts of Cavan, this is the issue too at the moment. There's a few doctors who had to stay on because they couldn't get a GP. But at the same time, and this is the thing not many people are talking about, at the same time, we are bringing in hundreds of thousands of people every year. And we're expecting the system to cope with it. And this is just showing you the system can't cope. Because every week now there's nearly 800, 700, give or take, asylum seekers coming in and being put into these communities in the back end of nowhere that are already under pressure. Rural communities, for example, some parts of Donegal, rural area, backwards areas that pretty much have not much going on, only apart from maybe one GP for maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people. And then if you add on another 500 in a hotel that's been moved in the middle of the night, you have problems there. But in Cavan, just take for example, there's a lot of doctors who were supposed to retire had to stay on because they couldn't get new doctors. There's no GPs, basically. They can't get any GPs. And the GPs that they do have at the moment, take for example in Cavan, there used to be so many GPs. They had too many GPs years ago. Even back 20 years ago, there was a problem with too many GPs. There was too many of them. Nowadays in Cavan Town, there's probably only 5. Years ago, there would have been 20. And that's just saying... In of Cavan Town, the GPs, even the GP I go to, he's supposed to retired long ago, but he would be overburdened with people pretty much. What I mean by that is he have extra patients. He could have an extra 4,000 patients maybe, because there's only a few GPs now, and they all have to take in the numbers and do the areas and stuff. But it just goes to show you there's not... The numbers are not there, and we're still bringing in people, because what we should be doing at the moment is the same with everything. In housing, etc., etc., shouldn't be letting anybody nearly come into the country at this stage at all. Only under exceptional circumstances should people be coming to this country at the moment to seek asylum or anything. Or even Irish people nearly coming back at this point in the moment in time. The population should not be growing pretty much at all, apart from birth rates in the state. But apart from that, there should be no inwards migration into the state for the period of the next 10 to 15 years, because that's how long it would take to sort all this mess out. But we're still bringing in people, and these people obviously need to be looked after in terms of healthcare and stuff like that. And this is the problem too in a lot of areas. In Cavan, there's a lot of areas because there's many people came in new to the parish, and they had to get GPs, etc., etc., and put too much strain on the system that was already strained. But yeah, in some parts of the country, there's literally whole areas, whole towns, many towns. Take for example Mayo, for example. There's many areas, many towns that could have literally no GP whatsoever. There's literally some towns, take for example in Roscommon, that literally had GPs back during the famine times and have no GPs now in 2025. It was reported there in the media too about some places in Galway, that in some rural places in Galway, they used to have GPs, now they have none in a lot of towns. And one GP, in one town, for example, has to do 3 or 4 towns because there's no other GP. So it's a huge crisis because, again, GP is your general practitioner, but it's important for people to see the general practitioner, particularly if they're sick, or particularly children, for example, they shouldn't have to wait. As I said to you before, I had to get a health and safety form signed. This is about 2 months ago at this stage, but it was barely 5 minutes. 35 minutes to go into the doctor. And I had to wait a month and a bit to get that form signed. Thankfully it wasn't urgent, but I still needed to get it done. And it was €40 just for 5 minutes to go in and sign a form. That could have been done, like, let's be honest, I didn't even really have to go into the doctor. They could have just tucked the form over the desk. But no, they had to do it that way. But it's all very stupid. But it's very stupid. Like something simple like that, I wouldn't mind if it was a big form. It was literally only a page. But that's what I'm saying. It's very stupid stuff and many things like that. I know even people who are waiting for forms, sick sorts, etc., etc. They're waiting awful amount of time to get it. And you wonder why people are dropping dead and stuff. Because literally nobody can see their general practitioner. Because if you're going to need an operation or anything, the first person you go to is a general practitioner. You need an x-ray and stuff. The first person you go to is really a general practitioner. In the majority of cases, you go to your local GP and then they process you on to the HSE, the hospitals, etc., etc., x-ray services. But yeah, just goes to show the numbers that are coming into the state shouldn't be coming in. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more. Do you have a GP? Is your GP overloaded? In a lot of areas they are. Like in majority of rural Ireland. In Dublin maybe it's not as bad as maybe the other parts of the country. But still, as I say, there's many GPs that are leaving, who are fully qualified GPs, are leaving to go to other countries from our Irish GPs. And we should be looking at how we can help them out. Because again, the biggest problem for a lot of GPs and a lot of young nurses, and we've heard this many, many times, is house, and they simply can't afford to live in this state. Anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more, and bye.